Now that the dust has settled, it's time for the Euro 2024 review. Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video. Yes, today's video is going to centre around Euro 2024 for the last time as we look back on the tournament that was Spain becoming the European champions, England falling at the final hurdle, France being extremely underwhelming, several teams maybe surprising us and overachieving in this tournament in what, in my opinion, was a great tournament. It was fun, it was entertaining, it was exciting at times. Yeah, there were a few spots here and there that kind of, you know, hurt the tournament a little bit, I guess you could say. Didn't exactly put the tournament in the best possible light. But I thought overall it was a great tournament, and I want to explain more about that as we go on into the video, whether it's focusing on the football itself, certain goals, certain performances, certain teams, that kind of thing. We're going to be talking about it all in this video, and then laying this chapter to rest in terms of the European Championships for 2024. As always, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comments section. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it on Euro 2024. Your review will make for great and interesting reading, I'm sure, down below in that comment section. So please do use and abuse that section, people. Let me know what you guys thought about Euro 2024 and everything else in between. But for right now, let's get on to the video. Let's get into it. Let's talk Euro 2024 for the final time. First and foremost, once again, congratulations to Spain. The deserved winners, the best team in the tournament, the most consistent team in the tournament. They played great football. They were consistent throughout. They beat many top nations to reach the final itself. And then, of course, beat England in the final. I thought they were brilliant and they were deserved winners overall. A lot of people have claimed that this Euros hasn't been that great. And the argument is that many of the top nations were underperforming, underwhelming in this competition. And I hear that and I understand that. You know, when I look at the likes of Portugal, for example, France, England, those are the three nations that instantly stick out as being very much underwhelming. Portugal was somewhat hit and miss at times, but as the tournament drew on, they of course got more and more underwhelming despite the insane team that they have on paper, whether it's the starting 11 or whether it is in their ranks, in their depth. France, we know all about France. We know that their team is insane. We know that their team is absolutely oozing with talent right the way through to the very core of that nation. No matter what level you're at, whether it's under 21s, under 18s, or of course the senior squad, the French have a stupid amount of talent and quality within any rank that you see within professional football. And of course, England. We know all about England's issues. They're well documented, especially on this channel. They're well documented as to how much talent we have, how much quality we have, whether it be the 26 men that went to Germany, or whether it be the ones that just missed out, whether it be the under-21s, the under-18s, whatever the case may be, we know we have a wealth of talent ourselves. And it is true. They didn't live up to expectations. Now, I think all three teams, you know, the squad should take some of the blame, of course. But I think all three teams are hindered by the managers that they have. Portugal have Roberto Martinez, France have Didier Deschamps, and England have Gareth Southgate. Now, of course, Deschamps has won the World Cup with France. He has a bit of credit in the bank, a little bit. But even so, France was still terrible. France actually gave England a good run for their money as to being the underperformers and failures of this tournament. At least England got to the final. That's all I can say on England's part. Roberto Martinez just doesn't suit the Portuguese team in the same way that Gareth Southgate doesn't suit the current English team because they or they all have a philosophy and a style of play that doesn't quite match up to the squad that they have. All three of these sides were poor, underwhelming, and I can understand the argument for why people were angry at this tournament and say that this tournament isn't actually as good as what people are claiming. But the flip side to that is that those same people that create that argument would all be saying it's boring and predictable if those nations all turned up and all beat the rest. They'd be going, well, there's no point having a group stage because everybody that we expected to go through went through. And then the ones that did go through and topped their group got an easy game in the round of 16 stage that they predictably won. And then they went on to the quarterfinals. I even started paying attention to it when it got down to the semi-finals and there were the final final 4 teams in the competition that were actually interesting. The thing that made this tournament special, the thing that made this tournament great in my opinion, was the fact that those nations didn't perform to the best of their ability, which allowed the smaller nations that we didn't really expect much out of to go at them and to obviously get some shock results and to obviously progress further than what we expected. It was pretty incredible to watch the likes of Georgia get to the round of 16 stage. It was pretty incredible to watch Turkey reach the quarterfinals, the Netherlands reach the semi-finals. You know, those 3 teams just right off the bat progressed further than what a lot of people expected and anticipated. And it made for a better tournament because when you get an outsider do well, it makes the tournament. It can make the tournament better. It can make the tournament worse. I understand both sides of the argument, but in my opinion, it makes the tournament better because you don't have it quite as predictable. You kind of go on this journey of maybe an underdog story could be in the making here. Maybe an outsider could win this competition. I get the big nations flopping. I get the likes of your Belgiums, your Frances, your Portugals, your Englands flopping in this tournament. And yes, England did majorly fail in this competition. To those who say they didn't, yes, making it to the final is one thing, but we also made it to the final 3 years ago. We also made it to the semi-final of the World Cup about, 6 years ago. We made it to the quarterfinals of the World Cup 2 years ago. We failed because we were the tournament favourites going into the competition. We didn't secure the trophy. We didn't win the trophy. We didn't win the tournament. We failed. We flopped. If we weren't expected to do much in this competition and we got to the final and fell at the final hurdle to Spain, fine. We can live with that. But ultimately, the game was there for the taking. Gareth Southgate had the weapons at his disposal to use on Spain and to win that game, and he didn't use them properly. That's on Southgate. The England players have to take some responsibility too, no denying, but England ultimately flopped at the final hurdle yet again, and they ultimately flopped the hardest in this competition. You can argue France. France did give them a good run for their money. France didn't even score a goal from open play by a French player until the semi-final. That's how bad France were, and then they ultimately got knocked out by the eventual winners of Spain, and rightfully so. France, you could argue, rivaled England for that particular title, that unwanted title of flop of the tournament. But in my personal opinion, this is what the past several years under Southgate have supposedly been leading to. And ultimately, England failed. England flopped. So it might be brutal, but the failure is there for all to see. The failure of France is all there to see. The failure of Portugal, who I think if they had a similar thing to England, where if England had dropped Harry Kane for the final and put on an Ollie Watkins or an Ivan Toney, we would have had a better chance of winning. If Portugal had taken off Cristiano Ronaldo and put on a Diogo Jota or whoever they have within their ranks, they may have done better. I do honestly believe that those two players in particular hindered their own country's performances. They may have done better. So I understand the argument of this tournament wasn't particularly great for those for reasons of the bigger nations failing, but ultimately I see a tournament that was full of uncertainty, unpredictability, and it wasn't as straightforward as what many people thought. I don't think many people predicted Spain to get to the final. Like I said, I don't think anyone predicted Netherlands to get to the semi-final. No one predicted Turkey to get to the quarters. Not many predicted Georgia to get out of their group. But yet, they all did. And it made it for a much better tournament. The atmosphere looked great from back home. You see the clips. You see obviously all the footage and everything. It all looked great from back home. There didn't seem to be any major issues out there. I'm sure that there might have been if you looked hard into it, but there didn't seem to be. The only concerns that I would probably say that you would have is that there did seem to be a lot of pitch invaders at this tournament. I don't know if that's just me picking up on that for the first time and that's happened in other tournaments this frequently, but it did seem like there were plenty of pitch invaders. The security team seemingly had a bit of a nightmare at times in certain games, particularly when it was Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo was playing. I don't know whether that's just me picking up on that now, by the way. That could obviously be something that you guys tell me in the comments, like, this happens every tournament, it's happened less times this year than any other. I think it's happened more, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this tournament. Like I said, I think England have been the flop of the tournament. I think Spain, obviously, the ultimate victors. But, again, a special shout-out to those teams that I mentioned that probably performed better than what a lot of people were expecting. The likes of your Georgias and your Turkeys and your Netherlands. Georgia in particular. It was so beautiful to watch how they obviously went from strength to strength. Like, I still think that their opening game against Turkey was probably the game of the tournament. That had everything in that game. That was so much fun to watch. It probably was the most entertaining game of the tournament. And I think Turkey, they were probably the most entertaining team overall, in my personal opinion. I think when they lost to the Netherlands in the quarterfinals, I think what you saw in that game was a Turkey side that were young, that were free to express themselves, that were enjoying their football, but ultimately the game management side of it and the experience side of Turkey is still in need of fine-tuning. And ultimately they just run out of steam and energy towards the end of the game, and that's what ultimately cost them. But until that point, Turkey were probably the most entertaining team to watch in that tournament. Spain were the best, Spain were the most consistent, but Turkey, for me, were the most entertaining. I think probably Arda Güler's goal against Georgia was probably the goal of the tournament. Maybe only rivaled by maybe the first goal that Turkey scored in that game by the guy whose name I've completely forgotten. But there were plenty of good goals in this tournament. You could really make a decent compilation of really good goals. Just off the top of my head, Cole Palmer's obviously yesterday was very, very good. I think Xherdan Shaqiri scored one in the group stages. That was very, very good. Like I say, Güler's goal, the Turkey player who scored the first goal for them that was a really good goal as well. Romania's first and second goal against the Ukraine was very good as well. Again, goals off the top of my head. You can probably tell me more in the comments, but yeah, a lot of good goals, a lot of great performances. A lot of good individual performances as well. There's going to be a fair few players that are going to be on the move this summer, I would imagine, from performances in the European Championships, which is always a bit risky because you never should basically base signing someone off of an international tournament. We know that from past experience. That never normally works out. It very rarely does. International football is very much different to club football. Wouldn't purely base it. So please do your research. If you are going to try and buy someone based off of a tournament, do your research before. See what they have been like. Because as we know, certain players play well on international stage but don't quite work out on a club stage. So just saying that would be the case there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, one more little gripe. Harry Kane winning the Golden Boot. So weird to me. I know that obviously the numbers don't lie and everything, and he did score 2 tap-ins and a penalty. But yeah, that's it's so undeserving of someone who doesn't deserve it. But ultimately, the goals don't lie. So yeah, like I say, ultimately, I really enjoyed it, and I do think there is weight behind my argument of people calling it a boring tournament, or whatever the phrase they may use that's in a negative way, to say that this tournament was actually really fun to watch. Really, really good fun to watch. Really entertaining. I think the youngsters in particular really turned up in this tournament. You think about the youngsters that turned up, like the likes of Kobbie Mainoo for England, Jude Bellingham here and there, Arda Güler, like I say, of Turkey, Kvaratskhelia. I know that obviously we know about him, he's a bit more experienced than the rest, but he's still relatively young. You know, there was some really good standout performances from some of the youngsters in this competition. Lamine Yamal, how could I forget Lamine Yamal? 16 years of age, and the guy ended with like 1 goal and 4 or 5 assists in this competition, and the goal he scored against France was an absolute beauty. How could I forget about his performance and of course his goal? Madness. I really am not all there. But yeah, Lamine Yamal, 16 years of age, European champion already. That guy has got an infinite ceiling, it seems, to go on and be something absolutely special than what he already is right now. Fantastic tournament. Like I say, for those of you that are complaining about it, for those of you that have said that this isn't a great tournament, like I say, would you rather it be extremely predictable? Would you rather it be boring and all the top teams actually turn up and wipe the floor with the minor teams, with all due respect? Or would you rather it be a bit more open and a bit more anyone can beat anyone kind of thing? A bit more unpredictable, a bit more entertaining in that sense? I'm just saying that is the way that I saw it in this competition. But no, that closes the book on Euro 2024. These are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever I want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of Euro 2024? What are your thoughts, your comments, opinions? I would say predictions, but it's already gone. So reviews, anything like that will make for great and interesting reading, I'm sure, down below in the comment section. Use and abuse that comment section, people. Let me know what you guys thought about Euro 2024 as a whole. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoy videos. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see you and speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your night. Speak to you all again very, very soon.